Most people are being tricked into staying middle class by the very thing they think is making them rich: tax efficiency. Everyone wants to pay less tax. It feels smart, it feels like you are winning the game. But what if I told you that the obsession with optimizing your tax bill is quietly costing you millions in lost growth? What if by trying to save 5 grand today, you are sacrificing 500,000 tomorrow? The uncomfortable truth is this: the truly wealth don't optimize for tax, they optimize for growth. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the math of why tax free is often a trap designed to keep you small. We've been conditioned to think in a very linear way. Lower tax equals good decision. Higher tax equals bad decision. But wealth doesn't care about your tax bracket, it cares about your net worth. Tax is not the enemy, small outcomes are. If you pass up by a massive opportunity just because it comes with a tax bill, you aren't being efficient, you are being conservative in disguise. You are choosing a smaller piece of a tiny pie instead of a large piece of a massive one. And over time, that mindset compounds just like money does. Let's look at the math. Imagine two choices. Option A tax efficient bond or account returning 5% per year tax free. Option B, a high growth investment returning 10% per year, but you have to pay 30% tax on the gains. Most people instinctively grab option A. It feels cleaner, more optimized, but let's play it out over 20 years with $100,000. Option A grows to roughly $265,000. Option B, even after paying the taxman, grows to over $380,000. By being efficient, you just paid a $115,000 stupidity tax to avoid a small legal tax. Wealth is built on scale, not on how much you save on your tax form. Tax efficiency isn't just a financial strategy, it's an emotional crutch. It gives you a false sense of control. You feel like you are winning because you are keeping more of what you earn. But that feeling is a distraction. Avoiding tax usually means 1. Avoiding risk, 2. Avoiding expansion, 3. Avoiding the big leagues. It's the person who won't sell a stagnant stock because they don't want to pay capital gains, or the employee who turns down a raise because it puts me in a higher bracket, not realizing you only pay the higher rate on the extra money. It's short-term comfort over long-term freedom. Think about property. A lot of investors focus purely on negative gearing, the idea of losing money on a rental to get a tax break. Investor Dave buys a cheap apartment in a stagnant area because it has high depreciation and tax benefits. He loses $5,000 a year but gets a nice refund. 10 years later, the property has barely moved in value. Investor Sarah buys in a prime location. It doesn't have the same tax breaks, and she actually pays tax on the rent, but the property value doubles. 10 years later, Dave is bragging about his tax refund. Sarah is retiring on her equity. Dave optimized for the tax. Sarah optimized for her future self. Which one do you want to be? Here is the real danger. When you choose a lower return just because it's tax friendly, you are hampering your compounding rate. Compounding is a game of inches at the start, miles at the finish. A 2% or 3% difference in your annual return caused by choosing safe, tax efficient assets doesn't look like much in year 1, but by year 20. It's the difference between retiring in a mansion or retiring in a studio apartment. We need to reframe how we look at the tax man. Tax is a byproduct of success. If you are paying $1 million in tax, it means you are making multiple millions. That isn't a problem to be solved, it's a milestone to be celebrated. The goal is not to minimize tax, the goal is to maximize after-tax wealth. Those are two completely different strategies. One focuses on the cost, the other focuses on the result. The wealthy don't ignore tax, they just don't let it drive the bus. They find the best, most scalable opportunities first, then, and only then, do they bring in the accountants to structure it intelligently. They understand that you cannot save your way to wealth through tax breaks, you have to grow your way there. So, next time you are looking at an investment or a career move, ask yourself, am I doing this because it's a world-class opportunity, or am I doing it because it lowers my tax bill? One of those paths builds a legacy, the other just protects your comfort zone, and those two paths rarely lead to the same destination. If this video changed the way you think about your money, hit the subscribe button so the algorithm can show this to more people who are accidentally keeping themselves small. Sometimes the safest strategy is the one quietly keeping you broke.